So it's called Country Birds. The rooster bows his head to peck the ground, still keeping those that threat his hens in sight. Stays poised at any moan to up and hound, and peck and kick and flap and rap and bite. A step too close, a move too quick, or less, oppose to cause suspicion of advance, is large enough a cause for pride to press, and men and birds to lose their noble stance. The chase is on, the grand performance trite, as bird on bird and man on man contest, and pride on pride erects a regal sight that disassembles thence in match for nest. And now, dear bird, you'll bid conceit adieu, as from my arms you gaze upon my coop. This last one is called Nosebleed. They come on so fast, and all of a sudden there's red on my paper, and red on my shirt, and red on the back of my hand. My only warning is a hint of a taste of iron in the back of my mouth, and by the time I can taste it, it's already too late. 1 drop becomes 2, then quickly 4 and 7. 7 becomes a stream, a river, an ocean of uncontrolled red, staining my clothes, staining my skin and the industrial carpet beneath me. Neon green, hot pink, blaze orange can all catch eyes, but apparently blood can catch curveballs. The drops leave a trail so they can find me, and apparently they want to. They always want to see why I ran out of the room, or to know if it hurts, or to know who punched me, or to know who hurt me. No one punched me. No, I don't know how long this one will last. And it keeps bleeding and bleeding, and no, I can barely feel it. And yes, it hurts. It hurts like hell.
Nice job, nice job, nice job. All right, looks like Bethany, you are up next. So let's see what genius work of art you've got here. Woo! Round of applause.
I'm very particular about my. Oh, yeah, okay. Alright, so this is a new one. I've never performed it before. This is called Emotion Iberus. If emotions were a food, I would be one fat fucking ass mama jama, baby! If feelings like joy and care and fear and anger could be ordered off a $1 menu just down the block, I would spend my days and nights thigh-expanding, lounging around, growing full-body stretch mark tattoos across every inch of my skin like creeping ivy or hieroglyphs of the story of my life in cellulite art. How amazing would this world truly be if all of your basic emotions like happiness, sadness, cowardice, and courage could be picked up at the side racks of Hy-Vee or Target in variety packs of 10 or 20 as you're there with your weekly shopping list of bread and cheese and toilet paper. And then there'd be specialty shops for the deeper, rarer, more cutting sensations of jealousy, rage, betrayal, love, passion, compassion, calamity, despairing, yearning, angst. Oh, the angst! Running at $7.45 an ounce in the sort of serve yourself machines they have for ice cream and froyo, where you always aim to coax out just a daub of the proper proportion size, but every single time, it floods forth in this melodramatic river of persistence perturbation until you find yourself vulnerable to the monsoon of behemoths violently overtaking you as you dash away from the emotional, excitable wreckage. If emotions were as readily available as little Debbie cakes or fun-sized Snicker bars, there would be no stair-stepper or elliptical powerful enough to burn off those emotional calories. No C-read, wrap, or gastric bypass that my heart would be able to overcome the loss of contented cellulite in my cultured emotional ass. Jillian Michaels would weep at the sight of my gluttonous spectrum of feelings and cringe with disgust every time I shrieked, "Love me!" in a desperate hunt for another scrap or crumb of emotional sustenance. And if emotion emotions could be found lying around on the street like lucky pennies and used condoms, I would lob them out amongst my friends like free t-shirts or a handful of glitter on a windy day. You're acting quite gregarious today, Oksana. Take a scoop of elation with that attitude. Was that a slice of sassiness I heard just now, Cody dear? You take this piece of guilt and regret, you take it like a man! So sometimes, these emotions erupt. We're volatile, vulnerable volcanoes, and what sometimes seem like emotional gifts that I want to bestow upon my friends, like the gosh darn emotional Santa Claus or Tooth Fairy, come out less like presents or quarters, and more like something kind of like the lines of emotional sort of kind of vomit. And I just feel like an emotional wrecking ball some days, you know? I can be so destructive and chaotic from the pummeling of mood on mood that the dust gets everywhere. It is in every crease of our hearts, of our eyes, and those uncomfortable little spaces under your fingernails that you can't help but pick at, like a starving bird scavenging for a scrap of food, or like an OCD child whose parents don't understand why she does that. Why does she do that? Why does she scrape over and over these empty fingers, stretching up words and hurts and cuts and curses that happened so long ago you can barely see the scar anymore, but you can feel it raised under the surfaces, and I trace these lines wedged in them like minuscule particles of emotional rubble left behind in the wake of this catastrophic tearing down of emotional walls and caving in of comfort level ceilings, conceding them all around me, pulling down the structures and dismantling the mantles of our homes, raising to the fucking ground the floors of trust and every stair in the cases leading up to them until there is nothing left but a light dusting of words spat out into the air, suspended around us, glinting with refulgence around our heads. I don't mean to be carnivorous in my insatiable quest to maintain this omnivorous lifestyle, but sometimes I take pieces when I mean to take away fear and hate, and I give emotional infections which fester and spread from person to person, because this emotional leprosy, binging and purging and engorging and contorting, is the only way to sustain life.
You came up with that today? Nice. That was very well done. Very well done. All right. Up next we have Callie. So let's give Callie a nice round of applause here.
Okay, everyone's been moving stuff around, so I'm gonna get myself situated a little bit on me. Yeah, I think I'm the last one. I am here today instead of doing my lab report.
Hell yeah!
And
Yeah.
I think you'll understand why in a second. Listen, I think we need to talk. We've been seeing each other for 2 whole semesters now, and I think it's time we go our separate ways. It's not you, it's me. I'm just in a weird place in my life right now, and how would it work with summer so near? But no, these are excuses. The truth is you've been abusive, elusive, and you confuse me with your nonsense, from which there is no defense. I'll cut the pretense because now that it's out, I won't waste any expense in explaining your offenses OChem. That's right, organic chemistry. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about the late nights I spent trying to understand your madness. How my gladness at finally thinking I had figured out the mechanism that solves the riddle of your reaction was crushed to bits when I had to admit that I didn't understand any of that shit. It's ironic how the more you taught me about oxygen, the more I felt like I was suffocating. It was debilitating. This overload of information creates the sensation of anxiety that I can never seem to shake. Reactions, interactions of molecules, nitrogen, oxygen, halogens, conjugated dienes. I was dying trying to remember it all. It made me want to quit, but I would submit instead, unwilling to give up my dream to be a scientist. Chemists like to do it on the table, periodically.
Oh.
Oh, did I do you? I did you hard night after night, constantly trying to please you with no rest. I was bent over my desk, but I only got caught when it came to your goddamn tests. And I get it. I do. You like to experiment. I do too. Well, I enjoyed those titillating titrations, that lively liquid chromatography. You have to admit, it never seemed to yield many results. It was plain as day, written out on Proton NMR, that you and I weren't meant to stay together. Now, you can try to bring me down all you want, Ochem, but the abuse has to end. I won't depend on you anymore for a grade or understanding. I'm not standing anymore. I'm cruising through your crash course, which has left me beat up, fed up, but with my head up, I will pass you and continue. I know it's hard to hear, and my reasons might not be clear, but neither were you. I tried to experiment, I took your test, and I gotta say, I'm an A, but all you saw was a B. Which is why next year I'm taking biochemistry. I think my attraction will create a more favorable reaction with my interaction with biochemistry. So with my final test, I'll be free to continue my degree and be rid of you, organic chemistry.
That was a great poem in this night. I really enjoyed that a lot. Very well done. Very well done. Well, I'd like to thank all you guys for coming out here and attending this performance. I hope you enjoyed it all. It's something kind of new, and we're hoping to have some more of it next year, and hopefully you guys can attend some more of these. Thanks for coming out, guys.